let's talk about what lessons, if any, Stoicism has for those of us pursuing better health and fitness in the 21st century. First, who were the Stoics? The Stoics were and are a diverse group of individuals with different goals and aspirations, many of whom weren't very physically impressive, with just a few being extremely chiseled, or at least their statues were. What connects the Stoics is a shared belief in a high agency view of the world that fundamentally states, although we cannot control everything that happens to us, we are able to control how we process and react to everything the world throws at us. This video explores the extent to which I believe we 21st century health-focused gym bunnies can learn from the Stoics. Here's 5 lessons that I found valuable and hope you will too. 1. Talking about doing something and actually doing it compete for the same resources. Ryan Holiday. This piece of advice resonated with me as a strong call to action. It seems to state, get up and start training even if your programming is imperfect, rather than sitting at home and planning a perfect training program and dietary plan that you'll keep editing and revising until the cows come home and never start, because with new information always becoming available, it'll never be perfectly optimized. 2. We must master ourselves unless we want to be mastered by someone or something else. Ryan Holiday. What's great about these Stoic aphorisms and productivity advice in general is that they're often vague, amorphous things that only take shape when we, the reader or watcher, choose to apply them to the specifics of our own lives. In terms of mastering ourselves so that we're not mastered by others, I interpret this within the modern social media influencer gym culture to mean set your own goals and targets so you don't end up aiming for a moving target or somebody else's goals and target. For example, the body of some internet personality. It could just as easily mean master your schedule and routine and decide what you do with your time to ensure you get to the gym and get your work done, rather than sitting at home scrolling 2 hours of shorts or reels only to wind up feeling annoyed that you didn't have time to go to the gym because you weren't the master of your own time, and instead the social media algorithms mastered your time for you. 3. Make the best use of what is in your power, take the rest as it happens. Epictetus. Many of us may lament others' better genetics or potential usage of performance-enhancing drugs, or perhaps simply their greater ability to dedicate themselves to one goal. Of course, if you're preparing for an upcoming white-collar boxing match against one of these individuals, these things will soon become your problem. But if you just happen to be stood next to someone in the gym with different insertion points of their bicep tendons, making their arms look more aesthetic than yours, and bigger muscles all over because they're prepared to buy and use drugs you're not prepared to, this only becomes your issue if you allow yourself to be drawn into competition and comparison with them. If instead you focus on comparison with your former self and on bettering your own health and fitness over time, these are not issues to you, and witnessing someone more aesthetic than you will not discourage or derail you because you're competing with you and your former self, not with them. 4. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Seneca. Seneca was a Stoic philosopher in Rome in the 1st century AD. His life wasn't without struggle and included 8 years exiled from Rome and culminated in him being forced to take his own life. He was said to have done so in a calm and accepting manner. In short, Seneca was a pretty tough cookie. What he says here can easily be applied to any of the less enjoyable facets of our health and fitness journeys. For example, if our PT suggests we benefit from a bit of cardio once every blue moon, we may suffer far more in the time spent dreading it than if we were to just get it done and move on. The same applies if your nutritionist won't hear of it that you eat anything other than a tin of tuna with sunflower oil as your 11 o'clock snack. Of course, it might be time for a frank discussion or perhaps a new nutritionist, but the point is that the action accepted without fuss will be more tolerable than the same action plus a load of ruminating on how unpleasant it's likely to be. 5. The great law of nature is that it never stops, there is no end. Ryan Holiday. The direct applicability of this to health and fitness is for me that there is no objective point at which you are fit enough or healthy enough to completely get off the horse and stop. Fitness and health are long-term priorities that form a part of our lifestyles. So to think that you've achieved it is to become complacent, and unless you stay consistent, you'll lose what you've worked hard to achieve. So to allow us to keep doing this, we want to focus on enjoying the process as much as possible and on forming healthy, repeatable habits that are sustainable long-term, rather than delaying all the fun for an end point that may never arrive. Or, in the case of Beachbody transformations, won't last very long if the diet plan and training program weren't fun enough and enjoyable enough to continue long term. Now, these aren't hard and fast rules or doctrines to live your life by, they're just ideas that I've found helpful in helping me prioritise what's important to me and to keep a reasonable degree of perspective on my own fitness journey. Please weigh them up, chuck out what's not going to work for you, enjoy what will, and share anything you'd add in the comments below. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.